So we're sitting out here right on Hollywood Boulevard, the famous, infamous Hollywood. And you can imagine the kind of parties and clubbing that go on out here in Hollywood. I mean, it's crazy. People have a very short attention span. They often are very value seeking. They're just looking for that next little chunk of value. And oftentimes it feels like they have an attention span of an ant. Well, why do they have the attention span of an ant? Because they have so many options, because they themselves are very high value, and there's a lot of people coming at them who want to be involved with them in an environment like Hollywood or maybe Manhattan or South Beach, anywhere that's very posh. Maybe you've been to the south of France. You know what I'm getting at here. And it's funny because I grew up being lightly autistic, having no ability to read social cues, and as a way to kind of improve myself, I had just enough social awareness that I actually moved myself right out to Hollywood, the most difficult environment possible, so that I could sharpen the saw, so that I could get very, very skilled and put myself in the toughest environment possible. Now, over the years, I tried so many different things to improve my social skills. It was my life's work. And one of the first things I tried was just coming up with wacky things to say. I thought maybe that will hold attention. If I just knew something really wacky to say, that's gonna hold people's attention. And I mean, if you think about it, just imagine someone who's a huge nerd saying something kind of wacky. They can hold attention for a hot minute, but as soon as the thing that they say runs out, that's it. So the next level that I went to was building my confidence. And I spent years and years really looking at myself, my beliefs, getting more present to the moment, releasing trauma, and many other things. And what I found is that this made me more naturally charismatic. That being said, even that has a limit if you don't have those hard skills of actually having charisma. In fact, I've had many people who I've taught in real life who have incredible confidence. They're very at peace with themselves, but I bring them out to anywhere where there's a lot of competing stimulus and they can't hold attention to save their lives. You could have, I hate to sound crazy here, but you could have a gun at their head and they couldn't go out and hold attention to save their lives. Now, conversely, what if you're somebody who is really good at holding attention? Well, you could probably hold it a lot more. I think about it constantly when I look at guys taking our beautiful research and refusing to use it. And then, here's where it gets, you wanna know where it gets crazier? I gotta keep talking about this. You wanna know where it gets crazier? Okay, then they come and they need 9 million techniques to combat their crappy voice. Because when your voice isn't good, you need 9 million frickin' gimmicks to hold somebody's attention. And this is so bad. And the thing is, I talk about this in video after video after video, and no one listens. I'm like Winston Churchill before World War II. Guys, the Germans, the guy with the mustache, this guy is gonna be a problem. And they're like, no problem. It'll be chill, bro. No, it's gonna be a problem, okay? And that's what you guys are doing. You're just leaving this huge problem here. And that's why every time I bring people on stage, I say, use your voice. And they think they're screaming. And then they make no sound and the audience tells them, I can't hear you. And they're shocked and they don't believe it. And I literally, and I can bring up 4 or 5 guys in a row to do it. And then all y'all will be laughing at them, arrogant, thinking that you're any different, and you're not. You've been out. You've had it where people don't pay attention to you. You've seen the consequences of it. You've seen someone you really want to meet and you just can't make their acquaintance. You know the problems associated to that. You know how it's probably cost you promotions. You know how if you run a business, it's made it where you can't be an ambassador for your brand or been effective. I mean, look, my business, we've grown this specifically for decades just from organic traffic. Only recently have we even been in a position to be able to do paid traffic. Now, you may not know this. Every seminars company that you see, or at least the vast majority, are using millions a year if they're big in paid traffic. We couldn't do that until recently. We were the one seminar company that I'm aware of personally, at least that I'm personally aware of, that built our movement just off organic videos that we put out and literally just using raw charisma. The same skills that we sharpened out here in Hollywood, we used to build an 8-figure-a-year business and a global movement. I'd like to show that to you. Why can't you build a global movement or get a better promotion or meet new people or be that person that everybody's excited to meet? I wanna show you how to use your social energy and exactly how to do that. So, look, my good friend Jeff, him and I have been working on a new program. It's called Charisma Mastery. And basically, this is something that has been a brainchild that we've been working on for many years, and we have been slaving away at this because we hit a frustration point where we thought, look, we tell people you got to be more charismatic, and they'd get frustrated. I mean, imagine that. Imagine you're working with me directly. I'm saying, use your charisma, and you're saying, how? How do I do it? What is the exact way that I would learn this? Tell me. And I'm saying, be more confident. Maybe try saying something. And you're saying, it's just not that natural energy. Look, I get it. And we felt that. So we decided to address this and give you something that is step by step where you can go through a process and force yourself to learn this. We're going to take you by the hand, walk you past the smoking wreckage of nonsense, like things like this, just crap. We're just going to walk you past the crap that we have had to push away for you and take you directly from point A, which is not being able to hold social attention to your maximum extent, no matter what level you're at, to point B, where you really get this and you are just a wizard with it. We want you to have mastery over this. And for that reason, that's why we call this program Charisma Mastery. Even with competing stimulus, we want to show you how to be able to hold attention and have it where people not only want to get your attention in real life when they're meeting you, but want to follow up and get to know you better even after you've met. So what we're going to do right now in this video is we're going to show you exactly how it is that we like to help people build out their charisma. And this is going to be really, really intense the way that we do this, okay? Because we're going to take through a group of people in this process, and you're going to see them actually making a change. Now, I want you to click the link below and sign up for Charisma Mastery, because this is something that we have teamed up on to take it to the next level for your life. What's up, man? Jeff is always working on something really, really deep. He's always got some deep project. Sometimes he's, writing a book for 2 years. Sometimes working on some kind of program for 2 years, like, whatever it is, right? So his recent one that he spent a couple years working on now, around the clock, I barely see this guy anymore. He's just working on it all the time. He's sending me outlines. He's sending me drafts. He's been in the lab working on this. Remember Dr. Dre, The Chronic? You remember that? Right? He's up in the lab, the pen in the pad, trying to get the stamp label off. Remember that? That's kind of Jeff right now. So Jeff has been basically getting this off the ground and getting it just going through everything, really creating something of quality and something that's life-changing. And he's gone really, really deep on this. I believe that Jeff has the most in-depth understanding of charisma in the world. Okay, in the world. He's been teaching live events. Our team in general, 265 cities, 75 countries around the world. Hundreds of thousands of people face-to-face and millions online. Jeff, we've been rocking this. Literally, he's been doing this since 2003. So you see an event like this?
17 years.
Okay, 17 years as of now. Whenever you're watching this in the future, since 2003. Can you imagine how much background experience he has with this?
Is there anyone in here who's like 17 or 18? Oh, cool. I could be your dad.
Yeah.
If you don't know your dad, I might be him.
Yeah. Jeff might even be my dad. So.
Time travel.
Yeah. So, but you see the idea here, right? So what we're going to show you, there's a lot of information you'd find online. What we're going to be showing you here is something in-depth, something powerful, something tested, something life-changing, something that can help you get to your goals in health, wealth, relationship, higher purpose. This, to me, is one of the major keys, okay? So basically what we're going to do, we're going to start breaking this down, give you some knowledge, and then we're going to go also into examples where we'll bring people up and we'll do some transformation work. Does that sound good? Yeah. Okay.
One thing that I've seen time and time and time and time again is these people that come on these programs. They've engaged with this material for many years. They can recite the theory like the back of their hand. They know it very well. However, when it comes time to actually execute, they have an inability to do so. And why is that? Why do you think that is?
Fear.
There's a lot of different things that are happening, but essentially something's blocking them. There are a variety of internal blocks. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to investigate this so-called human energy system down to the molecular level and see what are all of the different components. How do they interrelate as a holistic whole communicative system? How can you identify and fix weaknesses in each area, isolate those weaknesses, exercise them, reintegrate them into a more completely realized whole? So it's interesting because, like he said, I've been in like a pit for the past 8 months where all I'm doing, like literally before I came here, I spent 13 hours editing. I've been editing these videos. It's very close to completion, but I've been editing videos for like 16 hours a day for the past 2 weeks. I'm like maybe going outside once in a while to feel the air on my face, but it's coming very close to completion. So last weekend, I was up in Vancouver, and I had 2 students that it seemed as though God had put these gentlemen in front of me to tell me, you're on the right track, buddy. This is why you're doing this.
I heard
keep
this.
going.
I heard this. I got the updates of this all weekend over WhatsApp.
Just keep going, buddy, because these guys need this. So what we're talking about, one of these, I'll just give you an example. One of the guys, a very nice guy, great value, right? Seemed like a nice person, had a good job, et cetera, et cetera. He goes to talk to these people. He's completely deadpan. He has what we call sad face, okay? It's an acronym. Serious, anxious, deadpan. Like, very serious. This interaction I'm having is serious business, right? Anxious. I hope it works. I hope it works. And then deadpan, because what you don't show can't hurt you, all right? Furthermore, his entire kinesthetic mode, as we call it, completely shut down. Body language completely shut down, racked with tension, obvious tension all through his shoulders and body. Wouldn't take his hands out of his pockets. Movements are stiff. Mannerisms are stiff. Shuffling, jerky, shut down. The voice, monotone, inexpressive. So one thing to understand, you might be this great guy, but people don't know a damn thing about you until you bring it to them. So if you don't have the ability to actually create a compelling vibe when you're communicating with people, you are done. You are absolutely done. It's not even going to get off the ground. So one thing, as you were saying earlier, most people, and a lot of people in this room most likely, are coming from some sort of background where maybe your profession is very logical. Maybe you're an engineer. It's the Bay Area. Everyone eventually goes to tech or you move out, right? So
you have to go in the streets or you go in tech? Just start shooting up
the streets, or you move to Denver or something, right? So, a lot of times, in your day-to-day life, the communication that you engage in your profession is most like it's concise, right? You need to convey information in a short time frame that makes sense. It's logical. In a situation where you're meeting people socially, this is not the case. So what I've come to understand in more recent times is essentially the words, and words have meanings, okay, and that's important to an extent. You should kind of make sense to an extent in whatever language you're speaking. But the verbals are essentially the word salad that gives them the ostensible reason to stay there and keep talking to you. So what you're trying to do, you're trying to balance 2 things. You're trying to balance, number one, what you might call a vertical lyric expansion or a vertical vibe development, which is essentially an emotional feeling generated by what? Generated by your external projective communications. Now, with all human communication is based on what? Our senses. We got 5 senses. What are your 5 senses? Smell, taste, touch, hearing, sight. We don't use the first 2 to communicate. All right? I'm not like, taste me, bro. Okay? Like that's not how we communicate. And hopefully you're not using smell, okay? Do a breath check, okay? So, but hopefully, you're not using those 2 in normal circumstances. So that leaves us with the last 3, which are sight, sound, and touch. And the corresponding projective modes are what? Vocals, the noises that are being generated out of your mouth, and the corresponding verbal meanings associated with them. The specific emotional messages that are being sent with the eye focus process and the musculature of the face. And then your movement through space, gesture, and touch. So again, we have the kinesthetic mode, we have the vocal mode, and then we have the facial emotional complex. So all human communication is based on some combination of these 3 modes expressing themselves. These modes can be congruent with each other, they can be incongruent. There's a lot of interesting interplay between all of these modes. And so we want to develop, with this whole charisma training, with these guys who are very shut down, I'm not trying to train them on behavioral choice. I'm trying to train them in behavioral capacity. Do you understand?
Range.
Exactly. So in exercise, you practice what you can't do. In performance or actual interaction, you allow what you can, if that makes sense. So that's the idea with a lot of these. So I developed an exercise process that would actually allow people to engage with this stuff on a daily basis and expand their gestural vocabulary.
For those of you who are not that familiar with this, we do this kind of work all the time. And we bring up different people, and we can see different blockages. We can see what they're dealing with. It's a lot like a chiropractor can see things like posture, or somebody who does weightlifting can see the strength that somebody has. You can see this in their systems, the kind of charisma that you have. And some people will have a lot of it, although it may not be well controlled. Other people will have not very much of it, but what they do have is well controlled. There's a big range of it. So we'll probably, do you want to maybe bring up, maybe choose a couple different people that you can even just show some different examples, and kind of, you can hear it in vocal, you can see it in body language and demeanor, in ways they carry themselves. We'll see it, and we'll see it in a few of you. So this will make it a little bit more practical, so you can see kind of what we're talking about here. And then, by the way, as you're looking at the different people up here, ask yourself a question such as, could they get a promotion at work? How likely would they be to get a promotion at work? Let's say this person works really hard. Would they be able, let's say they run a business, would they be a good ambassador for their business? Could they present what they're doing in their business in a way where people would want to be recruited and be a part of it? Could they recruit people to their vision? Could they have an amazing dating life? Could they make friends easily? Could they get invited to cool parties? Could they get invited into better networking groups? And just ask yourself those questions as you see people coming up, which is pretty harsh. Little harsh, right? But ask yourself those questions as you see, and then Jeff will start breaking down why that is and what we can change to improve those results.
So when people want to express an emotion, there's this, what we call often this justification by tension. Okay, so I go to a lot of karaoke, for example, and I'm able to witness a lot of awful singing. Some of it by my friends, some of it by myself. And there's a friend of mine who has a tendency to make these screwed up faces when he sings, right? Like he always say, what is that song he sings, like Wham, Wake Me Up? He's like, wake me up before you go, I'm not part of the soul, right? And I'm like, why is he making these faces? And he's like, well, I want it to be emotional. I want it to be emotional. So he feels that he needs to call into play kinesthetic and facial tension in order to justify this increased expenditure of vocal energy. But in reality, and this is a huge, like, overarching theme of this entire program, tension is the enemy. Like, some singing teachers will teach you to, like, grip the floor with your feet or, squeeze up. And in fact, when you're out interacting and meeting people, like in a bar, a club, whatever, a lot of times you'll just have this generalized tension in order to sort of, again, justify this increased expenditure of emotional energy that you're going to do when you start to interact with people. And the feeling, it's like you're wearing this kind of corset, right? You're wearing this sort of like tight bodysuit that constricts you, right, to get ready to do something. But in reality, all that's doing is burning your energy. It's wasting your energy. So again, no held tension can be justified, right? That's one of the biggest things. So now first of all, let's have a look here. I want you to here, step back a little bit, and as you speak, I want you to wave your arms like this. So do it again. Say hi. Do the whole introductory thing.
Hi everybody. My name is Kevin. I live in Dublin. I'm 23 years old.
Yeah.
I work at a software company.
So again, I feel a lot of held tension in his shoulders here. And the thing is, again, you're probably unaware that you're even doing this. Because over time, these tensions become so ingrained that they become sub-threshold. You're unaware of them. Anyone know what rolfing is in here? Show of hands. Who can explain what that is briefly?
Essentially.
No, that's ruffling. It's different.
Ida Rolf created a massage technique. No?
What's that? So it's essentially an extreme massage technique that lasts maybe, I don't know, was it 10 or 12 weeks?
10 series.
It's a series of 10 extreme massage techniques where they're doing deep tissue manipulation in an effort to remove these early emotional traumas that become ingrained and become sub-threshold over time. How do you spell that? ROLF. Right? Now again, I'm no expert in this stuff. I know very little about it, but I've heard that people who engage with this, oftentimes when those tensions are released, repressed memories of like early traumas will come up. Right? So again, I'm not suggesting that you've got these early traumas, you were touched by an uncle or anything like that, but You know, again, just daily life. It could just be like anytime you, like it could be school, it could be the media, it could be religious upbringing, it could be corporate culture, a variety of things come into play that create these so-called negative social conditionings. So first thing to do is just to actually just do a physical, like a conscious tension check, okay? And I want you to release any held tension that you feel you might have, okay? Just do a body check, like a body scan right now, just from head, feel it in your face, feel it in the throat, the shoulders, the abdominals, the quads, even the ankles, okay? And I want you to just kind of rock back and forth, get very loose. Make sure your jaw's loose too. Breathe a couple times. Okay? Now try it again and go to the back. Ayo, 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 ayo. Okay, he's still holding. What level do you think he's at there on a scale of 1 to 10? 2. He's probably about a 2 or a 4. Now one thing that could be interesting, let's all do it together, okay? Ayo. Ready? Ayo. And do it again. Do it with us. Ayo. Okay. Now just do. Okay. Okay. Again. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're all going to do it together again, except when I go like this, everyone else drop out but you and keep doing it. Okay, ready? Okay, just do it again and drop out quicker so we can hear them. Ready? No, you keep going. Okay? Let's do it again. Ready? See, he was actually better there. Do you hear that? It's more clear. It's less of a pinched tone. So now, what I'd like you to do, I mean, again, we're just talking about sheer projection here, right? This is just sheer projection. But again, facial expressions, we're going to start with the face here. And the reason we're going to start with the face is because the face is the only mode that can communicate specific messages without the help of the other two, right? Again, when you're speaking, the face is always coming into play just due to the close proximity of it to the whole apparatus. Physical gestures have no innate meaning until they are given meaning by the addition of either the vocal quality or the facial expressions. Does that make sense? Yeah. There is no meaning, inherent meaning to a gesture. And again, one thing that I like to do to demonstrate that, if I go like this, okay, so tell me what emotion am I expressing here when I do this hand gesture?
Anger.
Right? So you think it's anger, but when it's like, no, it's like he's cheering. You don't know. So again, a fist through the air has a powerful energy to it, but you don't know if it's about to hit someone or if it's cheering for the sports team until again, it's given context by the facial messages and then possibly the vocal tone and then the context of the situation. Same thing, you know, if you see like somebody crouched around a corner ready to jump out, you don't know if he's gonna surprise his wife, surprise honey, or if he's gonna, you know, kill his enemy until it's, again, given context by what he says, his facial expression, and again, the context of the situation. So with the face, the first thing that we're going to do, and we're all going to do this, all right? Because remember, as we get into this, we're not going to do this stuff in practice when you're actually interacting with people. We're merely attempting to expand our vocabulary here. So the first thing that we're going to do, it's very simple. It's called a facial flex. And this is something for people who are shut down facially that you can do every morning. We call it face brushing. Much in the same way you'd brush your teeth, you'd brush your face. And you're going to do this every single day just in order to expand the vocabulary of emotional messages that you can send with the face. So the first thing that we're going to do is let's just go through the facial flex right now, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, all open. Okay? All closed. And by the way, one thing to watch as you do these, look for entanglements that come into play. Like you see when I did this, my shoulders tensed up as well. There's no need for that. So again, breathe, make completely loose. We're just exercising the musculature of the face surrounding the eyes. That's it, and the eyelids. So again, full open, full closed. Okay? Top open, bottom closed. Top closed, bottom open. Okay? All to the left. all to the right. Okay? Top right, top left, bottom right. Top right, bottom left. All down. All up. Top up, bottom down. Top down, bottom up. Okay? So now, what we're going to do, now we're going to just do a facial flex. And for 20 to 30 seconds, we're simply going to just move the muscles in as many conceivable ways as you possibly can. Okay, ready, set, go. And again, pay attention to any entanglements that are coming into play here. Okay, stop. Now, let's take a moment. Now, great. That was, again, give yourself praise for the energy that you gave there. Okay, and it's very important as you're doing all of these exercises that you, as corny as it sounds, praise that energy. Because again, when you're exercising, it has to be a space that is completely free of judgmental inhibition, right? Again, there's no wrong answers in this exercise space. That's what allows you to bring it, like remember what we said, you're not doing this in practice when you're meeting people. It's like in exercise, practice what you can't do. In process, or in performance, allow what you can. Okay, so as you do it, notice any entanglements that came into play. For me, I'll stop breathing. That's the one thing I always do. I'll stop breathing. Right? So now what we want to do, we're going to do I want to do an extreme facial mask. Okay? Now what is the extreme facial mask? Basically, you're going to make a ridiculous facial mask and you're going to hold it for 15 seconds with zero tension in the body. Okay? So first let's do it for 10 seconds. Just make some ridiculous extreme mask. Okay, now stop. Now, again, think what entanglements came into play. Did the shoulders tense up? Did the quads tense up? Did the breathing stop? Okay, so let's make the same one again, but this time focusing on releasing those entanglements, okay? So, ideally, as you make this, you could walk around, you could do the dishes, you could drive the car, you could perform a dance, move. Okay, release. So,
all of you guys, get right up on the front, get flush with your feet to the front like that, and then a couple times when they're doing it, just go right up on them. Just a couple times, it'll be fun.
So, okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to start to add in some arbitrary emotional attitudes to these weird masks. Okay, so why are we doing this? What is an attitude? Basically, so I've got a list of random attitude cards here, which we're going to explore. So you have sharp, mocking, apologetic, dull, etc. So an attitude, any one of these words, it's a message to the intellect. It's a message to the projective modes and the intuitive mind of the projective modes to perform and express. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to make an extreme mask, and then as I add these in, you're going to express these while holding the extreme mask. Okay, as bizarre as that sounds. All right, so first, again, keep tensions free. Let's draw a mask. Ready? And now while holding that same mask, make it angry somehow. Okay, now switch. Now make it disappointed. And again, you might feel the kinesthetic come into play, right? Now make it playful. And the focus process might come into play as well. Now make it bored. Okay, now drop them all. Now, what I want to do next, and I'm burning through these very, very quickly. Normally, we do a lot more work with these, but again, we have limited time scope here. But what I want you to do now, we're just going to work with these in isolation, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to start to expand them to greater and greater levels, okay? So the first one I want you to do, I want you to do ashamed. What does that look like? Okay, I want you to do terrified, okay? And then I want you to do pathetic. Okay? Okay, so now, what I want you to do, I want you to hold that at maybe, okay, hold terrified. You're terrified. Okay, you're not scared, you're fucking terrified. Okay? What are you again? Ashamed, pathetic. Okay, so take those, now it looks like right now you guys got these at about a 3. I want you to take them to a 5. Okay, now a 7. Now a 1. Now a 7. Now a 14. Now, do you believe he's terrified? No. Like I'm talking like a guy with a chainsaw is about to cut his balls off. Like that's terrified. So you're looking like this. He's like, that's more like, my golly, I'm surprised the new Star Wars movie sucks. Like that, haven't seen it, can't speak to it, don't really know. Okay, so again, I want you to go even like ridiculous. Okay, terrified, take it at a 5. Pathetic, take it at a 5. Ashamed, take it at a 5. Okay, now take this to a 9. Tear all 3 of you. Okay, now back to a 1. So you can get a rebound effect down to a 1. Now a 10. He looks amused. All right, he looks basically amused. So okay, let's see you guys do terrified. So terrified, it's going to be like eyebrows up, apart, eyes wide open, mouth open, lips drawn horizontally back. Right? Again, so it's interesting that you're incapable of doing that. No, it's actually quite interesting. So what's suppressing this? He doesn't even know he's doing it. Much of the same way that when you were shouting earlier, you're thinking you're literally believing that's the loudest you can go, right? You're literally believing that's the loudest you can go. Now, in fact, let's do another little exercise here. In fact, let's try the projection exercise again. Okay? So let's go. I want you to say to the back, be like, "What's up, guys? How's it going?"
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Like that. I really like that. You know what? In fact, you know what I think is allowing him to do that? There's a couple things. Number one, everything seems very loose. Like your entire posture seems very loose, very upright. I'm not seeing a lot of held tension here, and again, it's very resonant.
Thank you.
Have you ever done singing before?
I've tried singing.
You've tried it. He's tried it. He's played. Let's do it again. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Okay. Second.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty resonant.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So again, can you hear the distinction there? When it gets to him, he's got a lot of held tension there. So a lot of held tension. So one thing I want you to think about doing is, first off, it sounds like, number one, you're pushing air. Okay? You're kind of pushing air. So look, that's the conventional wisdom, right? Push from the diaphragm. What's the problem with that? You're pushing a lot of air through this whole apparatus. Basically, yeah, it will. If you push enough, it'll make a loud sound, but it won't sound clear or clean. It'll sound kind of vague, like hollow and unattractive, and it won't project very far. Or if you are projecting it very far, what's going to happen? It will damage. So what I've learned is basically, and again, I used to lose my voice all the time after these events. especially after a full complement of the events of the week in between the boot camp, et cetera, et cetera. So one thing I learned was, yes, you need to have a carefully controlled fountain of air that's maintaining a precise relationship to the need put upon it by, again, the demands of whatever you're trying to do. But again, I don't want to just be willy-nilly pushing air. I want to generate the power more from the constriction of this sort of sock around the epiglottis. Right? It's called the aryepiglottic sphincter. Okay, LOL, badum, right? But basically, think about it like this. If you have a hose, you turn the water on, it just comes out. But if you pinch the hose, now it becomes a more concentrated stream because you have pressure. So two things I want you to do here, because I want to work through this vocal thing here. First off, think about pinching the muscle around the voice box. Okay, you're going to squeeze it, and it's going to be a stream that goes to the back, like a laser-like beam that goes directly to the back of the room. You're not talking to these guys. You're talking to the back wall. Okay, you're talking to you're talking to Ryan at the back. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I want you to keep the jaw loose, and I want you to think about bouncing the sound off the hard palate. Okay? So everyone feel for your hard palate right now. Again, so put your tongue behind your teeth, okay, and then slide it back. You feel where it's like a drop up. It goes up. That's your hard palate. So pinch, bounce the sound off that, and try to beam it back to Ryan there. So again, hey, excuse me, I've been sick. Hey, like, hey, how's it going, Ryan? Boom.
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Okay, pinch it more, okay? I want it to even think about it resonating up through the head. In fact, think about it coming out of the forehead and out, up and out like that. So, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Okay? Hey,
How's it going, Ryan?
okay.
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Okay, take it louder.
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Okay, project it back, and I want you to feel it. In fact, bring it up here. Look at my face. Bring it up here to the eyes. So it's like, hey!
Hey!
There he is.
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Yeah, there he is right there. Good. And I know how, and the thing is, bro, I know how hard it is to actually do that. That's why it's not this huge achievement, but you can definitely hear it's more of a clear tone and it's going back. Let's try it again one more time. Hey!
Hey! Hey! Hey!
It's better. It's definitely, it was a 2 before. I'd say it's probably a 5 now. But again, this is a process. It's an ongoing thing. And look, the most important thing is that you don't feel guilt. You don't feel ashamed of this stuff. You just recognize it for what it is. Because again, if you're like, oh, this sucks that I'm like this, that's just adding to the judgmental burden, which is the problem in the first place. Because as you're trying to do this expenditure of emotional energy, intellectual judgment comes into play, and then it calls these tensions into play as its enforcer to kind of shut it down. Which is interesting because, over time, you begin to equate the repression of the emotion with its expression. Like the moment that you want to express the emotion, boom, it's shut down. These two things are the same event in time, almost. Or, eventually that's what it becomes. So eventually you think that the repression of the emotion is the expression of the emotion itself. And so it's, again, these things can be very, very difficult to, number one, identify and then release, but it's part of a process. Okay, thanks for being up here, guys. Come on down, jump on down. Cheers, cheers. Now,
Wait, as we do the exercise in the future, we'll get them to pass the microphone.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You want to do one more where they pass around a bit?
Sure, but in fact, you want to chit chat a little bit about what we just saw there, and then we'll call some up. Yep. So let me just take this off because I'm getting quite warm up here. So now let's do something a little bit different, and let's get a couple volunteers up here. Another couple volunteers. We'll get the hat lady. We'll get this fleece guy here, you next to Lee, and we'll get you with the Henley shirt. It's your turn. Henley shirt. Okay, so what's your name?
Rue.
Rue, what's your name?
Barry.
Barry.
Josiah.
And Josiah.
And everybody come to the front, lay up against the front, and anybody that doesn't put the mic up to your mouth, okay?
Oh, yes. So do we have a mic up here? Okay. So what we're going to do now is I want to practice a couple different things here. And first, I'm going to do, let's start with something pretty simple. Let's start with process changes. Okay, so I want you to basically, I want each of you guys to tell a short 30-second story about how you arrived here tonight. Okay, and basically what I want you to do, I want you to change from, actually I got a better idea. Okay, I got a better idea. So 3 people raise their hands. You, and you. You 3 up here. Get a word in your head, and I want you to say them. Do you have your word in your head?
Bike.
Well, no, don't say it out loud. Okay, so you're done. Okay, come up with a word in your head, a word in your head, your word in your head. You got your words? Okay, now say it out loud.
Manifest. Banana. Preposterous.
Okay, so you're going to come up with a short story, and the beginning, middle, and end are going to be manifest, banana, and preposterous. Go. Oh, and as you do this, you're going to change process from, you're going to start out ashamed, and you're going to end up at hopeful. Okay. What were the 3 words?
Manifest. Banana. Preposterous.
Okay, manifest, banana, and preposterous.
So my friend Chris always talks about,
You're ashamed. You're ashamed now.
and it's just, manifesting doesn't work like that. Like, how can you even think that's something that would work? Like, I don't even want to be seen with you. Oh my goodness.
Oh, hold on. Let's add in another one too, just to make it more complicated. So manifest, banana, and prosperous, and you're going to go from ashamed to hopeful, and you're also going to go from soft to loud. Okay, boom, because we're going to change the vocal process too. So we're working, again, facial expressions with the emotional attitude, and also you can also call into play your entire physicality for ashamed. You can be like ashamed versus hopeful, and then again bring the face, and then as you go for, again, with the 3 words, what we're exercising is imaginative capacity to come up with stuff on the fly, and then also we're flexing the voice from soft to loud. Okay, so soft to loud, ashamed to hopeful, manifest, banana, prosperity. Wait, what was it?
Preposterous.
Preposterous. Okay, go, boom.
When he comes up to me, right, he's like, if you want something, you should manifest it. And, I'm thinking, like, what does that even mean? How could you even tell me something like that? And then he goes downstairs to the basement, right? And he grabs a yellow banana, hands it to me. He's like, if you want to be preposterous, just take this out in front of anyone, peel it, make eye contact while you eat it.
That's good. All right. Good. Okay. So what we're doing here, again, we're learning to, this is also a coordinating skill exercise, because you're trying to coordinate, and this is very difficult, by the way. Very few people that just popped up. Normally we would do this at the end of like the 8-hour day where we've worked all of these different things. So kind of putting you guys on the spot here. Sorry, but Surrey, as they say in Canada, was just up there. It's a great place. So let's get another 3 words. So again, you 3 guys here, you, and you. Word, word, word. Get them in your mind so you're not influencing each other. Okay, you got your word, you got your word, you got your word. Okay?
Which?
Jaguar. Paper.
Which, jaguar, paper. Okay, so your story is going to start with the word which, middle jaguar, then paper. You're going to go from nonchalant to confused. Actually, let's go from nonchalant to frantic. And you're going to change process from speaking slowly to speaking very quickly. Okay, go.
So my friend, right?
Slower.
My friend.
And more nonchalant.
My friend. Who claims that she's a witch, okay? I mean, you don't meet a lot of witches nowadays. Occasionally you run into a few. Now, when you see a witch, you say hi to them, right? And one day I knocked on her door. I was wondering if she's home. And I walked in, and she's fucking a jaguar. She's in bed with a jaguar. she's having sex with a jaguar, and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I whipped out a piece of paper from my back pocket that says, I wish our friendship would end today. And I signed my name on the paper, and I gave it to her, and she signed it.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's do another. In fact, I'll go this time just to see if I can do this. So let's do. Okay, so 3 words. You 3 guys up here, you got your words? Any word? Yeah, go.
Cat. Toilet. Light.
Cat, toilet, light, and I am going to go from sharp to mocking. Actually, let's do sharp. Let's do mocking to furious. Okay, cat, toilet, light, mocking to furious, and I'll do quiet to loud. Okay, damn, this is a lot to juggle. Wow, this is more difficult than it seems. So what do I do? Mocking to furious, cat, toilet, light, right? Okay, mocking to furious, cat, toilet, light. Okay, I was at my house the other day, and I saw this cat, and it's my cat. I don't like the cat very much. It's a bastard. It's ugly. It's stupid. And, the other day I saw the cat. I walked in the bathroom, and it was actually drinking out of the toilet. And I was like, what the hell is this? Why is this cat drinking out of the toilet? Why is this cat drinking out of the toilet? So I went and I got a light and I shined it on the damn cat and I said, get the hell out of here! Okay, that's it. It's a lot of cognitive work to juggle all those, right? So yeah, it's like, wow, now I know. So okay, so let's do one more, and let's do Alessandro. And then Nick, was your name correct? Yeah. And then the glasses fellow next to you. So you 3 guys, get your words prepared. Got them? 1. Casanova. Charismatic. NASCAR. Okay. Casanova, charismatic, NASCAR. And we're gonna go from. Okay, and we're gonna go from. Let's see. Let's do annoyed to peaceful. Annoyed to peaceful, Casanova, charismatic, NASCAR, annoyed to peaceful, and then we're going to do, in terms of the verbal progress or vocal process change, we're going to do low pitched to high pitched.
Ooh, this is going to be fun.
Yes.
And terrible.
So we got it. Charismatic. Or wait. Casanova, charismatic, NASCAR. Annoyed to peaceful, low to high.
Okay. The fucking thing, man. So here in San Francisco, there's this bar called Casanova, right? Do I need to? Ryan, can you hear me in the back? Yeah. Good. And it looks like it's a cool place. It looks like it should be fun to go. There's a payphone on the wall. Why? I use the payphone. There's a bartender. It was cool. Gave me water. Seemed like a charismatic dude. But then again, aren't all bartenders supposed to be? Who knows? But then, something that I really started noticing was that there was this couch next to a fireplace, and this fireplace, it doesn't work at all. Where was this supposed to end this thing?
NASCAR. Somehow you got to take this to NASCAR. To NASCAR. NASCAR. And peaceful. NASCAR.
I got bored, I know it's great, whatever. And then, somebody I was talking to, they were like, hey, you like NASCAR? And I was like, not really.
All right. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for helping. Give them a hand, give them a hand. God bless. So yeah, that's actually like, why am I having this? So that's actually like a very advanced exercise from kind of the end. And we do a lot of other different ones where other people are coming in and trying to interfere with you. Again, it gets very practical. Like it starts out very functional just to expand the capacity of the projective modes. But then again, we're working all of those different modes. We're working the vocal, we're working the facial, we're working the gestural, we're working the intellect, we're working the emotional process, we're opening up to intuition, and then we're actually practicing it, skills that you would actually use in interaction, right? Imaginative capacity, stylistic capacities, changes in process, monitoring different things that are happening around you at the same time as you interact with people, moving the plot forward, understanding how to juggle that, how to sort of find the plot development implicit in the vibe, and finding the vibe implicit in the plot development, right? Because a lot of this stuff, look, so much of the social interaction stuff has us confront a variety of so-called, what appear to be opposites, right? There's direct versus indirect. There's repose versus energy. There's, again, the vibe versus the plot development. There's like aggression versus hanging back, et cetera, et cetera. But one thing to understand, and there's so many of these, but one thing to understand is if you have a spectrum of apparent opposites, the greatest vitality at any point along that spectrum is through kind of the synthesis of the two ends, right? So a big part of all this is starting to get away from so-called black and white thinking and this emphasis on dualism, and really starting to see the nuanced gray areas that are involved in this. Because look, some people, like let's say for example the old, direct indirect question, right? Some people seem to navigate this issue with a minimum of intellectual effort, with a minimum of any effort whatsoever. They seem to know exactly when to move things forward. They seem to know exactly when to be a bit more aloof and chilled back. And sometimes that can change from moment to moment to moment to moment. So again, it's starting to open yourself up to this idea of just, again, fields of choice potential. At any moment, the right choice could be at any point along that. And just kind of starting to understand your own capacities and be able to bring those to bear on whatever demands of whatever particular social interaction that you're engaged with. Whether it's negotiation, sales, meeting someone, navigating some sort of hostility with your neighbor or something. Again, understanding and first of all, releasing these tensions and then developing these skills, it'll enhance pretty much every social interaction you'll ever have.
Yeah, I can say that one of the most frustrating things is that as we've progressed, and I know Jeff has felt this too, people will come to us and they'll say, oh, I'm not an extrovert like you, or I'm not a public speaker like you, or I don't have charisma like you. And people who I work with or people who I interact with will say things like this. And to me, that's like if I bring you to my house and the room is messy, and then you walk in and I say, oh, well, I'm not one of those clean room people like you. Right? If I have a bunch of cavities in my teeth and I say, oh, I'm not one of those non-cavity people like you. Or I'm not one of those rich people like you. It'd be like I have a kind of pot belly right now. Imagine if I'm like, oh, I'm not one of those people with abs like you. And it's funny because earlier in our careers with this, people could really see the gap that we were kind of learning it ourselves. But now that we're both in our 40s, we've got to internalize to the point that now people think that it's just something we always had. They don't get it that this was something that was worked on, which in some ways is a compliment, right? So for me and Jeff, that's the biggest compliment that we can get, is that they think it's something that we're born with. But in reality, it's also completely delusional. This is a process that you can learn. And for us, it became a priority because we understood that our quality of life was going to be a lot lower if we didn't have this down. We understood that life was very bad when you're just working all the time and just constantly treading water, but not understanding how to come across. And the big thing to understand, like we said, is that in life, there's a reason why people will pay a ton for a Rolex watch that really, you could argue, is no better than Timex. I mean, functionally speaking, if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, what would you rather have if you're stuck out there for 6 months? The Indiglo Timex, where it has like a chronometer in it and a timer and all that kind of stuff? Or do you want the Rolex that could, that probably could break, has all these expensive components in it? I mean, maybe if you could melt it down and make a spear with it, I don't know. But generally speaking, people will pay $30,000 for the exact same thing because it's associated to status. So like we said, the major thing that you can use to create leverage when you're learning is your personality. That's something where you can have nothing going for you at all, and you can start spitting results. And then what you want to do is you want to leverage this and not just use it as something to have a bit of personality and that's it, but you want to leverage it for things. So you want to start asking yourself right now, what can I use to leverage this for? You know, in a city like San Francisco or Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Vegas, you can use it to leverage yourself into the best parties, best networking events, best dating opportunities, getting into better jobs, and so on and so forth. In smaller towns, there'd be all sorts of other applications as well. Maybe you're using it for pragmatic things. Or from a really small town, maybe you use it to negotiate a better tractor or something like that, right? It just depends what it is that you're doing. But either way, you want to have this down. I'd ask you to really take a pause and think about every situation in your life right now where you're not projecting yourself properly. Think about every single situation in your life right now where you're not connected or you're being ignored. People aren't paying attention to you. People aren't taking you seriously. People don't value your presence. People are not feeling an urgency for you to be around. When you're coming to the group of friends that you have, are they saying, oh, so-and-so's coming if it's you? Or are they kind of indifferent? And if they are excited, how excited are they? And so on and so forth. Do the people who you meet out, are they excited to spend more time with you or are they not? And then I'd ask you to think about what this is costing you. And really what you want to do is you've got to live your life in a way where you're optimizing different opportunities, okay, in order to play the game of life properly. And so what winds up happening is that if you neglect a core area, you're going to reap what you sow, right? You're going to have the consequences of that. And so the pain of this can get very, very bad. It can be embarrassing. It can be frustrating. You're putting a lot of work into something. You're not getting an ROI on it, and so on and so forth. Also, I'd ask you to consider, even when you're going to raise your children, what kind of personality are your children going to have when they're watching you doing this? What kind of leader are you? What kind of vibe are you creating around your friends? And how good could your life be when you take the time to cultivate this versus how bad can your life be and frustrating can it be when you don't? Thank you, guys. Could you hold the energy of a 500-person crowd without a microphone? Can you walk into any environment and be that wizard in the environment where people want your attention? Are you that person who can connect quickly and people want to get to know you better and follow up with you? We're going to show you the exact skills of charisma. I'm really, really pumped for you. Get ready. I'll see you inside Charisma Mastery.
Yo, Jeffy here. Let me ask you a question. How do you want your story to go? Do you want to live an extraordinary life? A life of fulfillment, a life of accomplishment, a life of joy with people that you actually care about. This program is designed to give you a process to open like and sustain charismatic expression with increasing consistency. Remove the obstacles, like you're not isolate the skills, exercise them separately, because if you struggle with mediocre results socially, how to speak to all the issues surrounding this interrelationship between intuitive and intellectual resources, and if you don't make changes is arguably the most fundamental challenge facing anyone who's attempting to improve their communication skills. Because it's connecting with people general charisma that leads to getting the promotion, areas of life, getting the partner of your dreams, getting the social life that very few people enjoy, and ultimately getting that feeling that you belong. Well, for over 17 years, I've been helping people just like you. You see, most people suffer from the same social issues. They don't feel like they can just be themselves. They feel judged. They feel uncomfortable, like they gotta walk on eggshells so they don't say the wrong thing, offend someone, or maybe ruin a relationship by expressing themselves fully. That good old aphorism, just be yourself, or just be confident, it's a vague abstraction that's really just brought us more problems than answers. So maybe you don't feel like you know how to connect, communicate well, or add value to your peer group. Does this sound familiar? These are obstacles that I used to face a long time ago. But over time, 20 years to be exact, I systematically learned to overcome this with the right mindset. And an understanding that charisma is actually one of the most important skills you can develop, aka self-expressiveness. And why is that? Well, people like and want to be around people who are easy to connect with. Do you know how and why people open up more easily around others? The answer is value. The value someone gets when they interact with you. That makes them want to continue to connect with you. And when I say value, I don't mean a financial gain or any material gain at all. It's a feel-good gain, a gain that naturally comes from charismatic people that literally everyone wants to be around. And it's the number one social issue I see every day. The key is to project the kind of life you want out into the world. I've helped thousands of people overcome all obstacles that are stopping them from generating that feel-good gain for others. How? By fully expressing who they truly are. And that is what you call charisma. Now, you might say, but I'm not a charismatic person, Jeff. You might think, I wasn't born with that it factor. Well, I used to feel the same way. And I made it my life's mission to actually figure this out. And after almost 2 decades of successfully and systematically coaching this, I've seen it with my own eyes. You don't have to wait to learn the exact mindset that my students and myself use to live unapologetically, 100% me, 100% of the time, and attract and keep the people you want to be around the most. I dig deep. I identify the exact issues that are stopping you from succeeding, and I help you to map out ways to accomplish your social goals, removing all the mental blocks, exponentially accelerating your growth. And how do we do this? By combining the lessons with personal feedback, I will help you to be the kind of person you're meant to be. And that's the secret sauce to it all. Having someone in your corner who's been there, who's gone through that, somebody who knows what they're talking about, and most importantly, who cares about you and your results. And let me assure you, you don't get through 17 years of coaching this stuff by not caring about your clients. And that's why so many of my students see massive results. Maybe that's connecting with someone you like. Maybe that's learning to be yourself. So if you dream of creating your own life on your own terms, and you struggle in social settings due to a lack of confidence, if you don't know how to build strong relationships, if you often feel alone, like you don't have real friends or you don't know how to connect, you don't have to feel like you don't belong in a room, like you're not a valuable part of any social circle, because this is a learnable skill. If you've ever learned a new language or know somebody who has, or if you've ever seen how artists learn to improve their stage presence and their performance over time, then you've seen proof that becoming charismatic is a learnable and coachable skill. As long as you're willing to put in the work, you can learn this. There's no magic wand, there's no silver bullet, but I will hold you accountable for a whole 6 months to train you up like an artistic coach would and get you those results. But you have to do the work. This is your life we're talking about here. No one else is gonna put the effort in for you. I'll guide you every step of the way, but you need to put in the work. You can learn how to be the most charismatic person in any room. That person that everyone wants to talk to or everyone wants to be friends with. You can learn to project that feel-good gain they all want to be around. Strong and successful connections start with charisma. And that's why I've developed this program called Charisma Mastery, to help you learn faster, to be expressive, so you're you. Now, this is a system that I've developed over the last 17 years of live coaching. I used to teach strangers how to connect with each other. I don't lie about that. But Charisma Mastery isn't just about connecting with people you're romantically interested in. It's about building a better you. And once you complete this course, you'll be a best version of yourself. You'll become the person you were meant to be, the person everyone wants to be around, free from concern, free from judgment from yourself and others. Now, if you're just starting out on your personal growth journey and maybe you feel a little bit lost, like you don't know what to do next, then this is for you. It all starts with the 4 big issues that people have. And the biggest of these is self-judgment. In other words, how you talk to yourself. So maybe you judge yourself, or you're constantly thinking about other people judging you. If you give power to others by making them the issue, it's virtually impossible to become charismatic, let alone connect with someone. So once you understand why and how talking to yourself the right way is so important, then you can move on to break out of your shell. And even if you've tried in the past, this will be different because I'll walk you through my systematic approach to bring out your true self. So you can just live as you, without the social pressures, without the anxiety out there in the real world. So next, once you talk to yourself the right way, you need the tools to help you put what's on the inside outside. And we excel at this through a number of at-home and then outside the home dynamics and personal feedback for 6 whole months. We help you to nail these until you've come out the other end a free, fully expressive version of yourself. And once you've achieved that high level of charisma, we help you implement those results in your life, in your social circle, in your family, in your professional life. And finally, there's the 4th step, which is helping you keep these results for good. So again, fix your internals, put what's on the inside outside, implement this in your life for 6 months, and keep the results for good. But I can only help if you're the kind of person that's 100% committed and ready to take action. And that's what this new Charisma Mastery program is all about, to help you hone the learnable skill of charisma. It's designed to give you the confidence to approach any situation with ease, to learn how to connect with anyone, anywhere, authentically and successfully by giving them that so-called feel-good gain. And by doing so, you'll be creating those dream relationships and those strong connections so you can actually live life on your own terms. So on top of that, for a limited time, I'm offering 5 incredible tools that are gonna accelerate your growth. Now, these are available only until the clock on this page runs out. In a nutshell, I'm gonna show you how to do this through a program that you'll use for the rest of your life. Live, in person, face to face, mano a mano. So what am I talking about here? First, you'll go through the program, helping you create new internal dialogues, new mindsets, new behaviors to help you succeed. But also, I'll help in person, $1,000 value, 100% free at my new Charisma Mastery live event. Yep, not a mistake. I'm gonna help you get good at home through this program, but to accelerate your results, I've got to give you personal feedback on your current sticking points directly from me and my team at a city near you when I go on my upcoming Charisma Mastery live tour. Okay? Plus, the 5 extra tools I've added for the people smart enough to take action today are priceless. And this includes tools from Derek, from Owen, from Julian, but they're only available until that clock strikes 0. After that, my personal feedback and all 5 tools from the other instructors, poof, will disappear. So make sure you take action today because these tools will help you to succeed a lot faster, including a free ticket to Charisma Mastery Live, where you'll learn directly from me in person. I'm gonna help you crush those mental blocks that are preventing you from living the quality of life you deserve. There's really no substitution for getting in a room with me and the group and working through your issues. Have you ever gone through a program and not gotten the support you need? That doesn't happen with me. So imagine getting the promotion you wanted, connecting with someone who will be your next business partner or best friend, all because you learned how to communicate with people at the highest level because you signed up today and received these bonuses. What's that worth to you? Ensuring you don't miss out on opportunities, on relationships, on friendships. With this, you leave fully confident and equipped with the tools you need, so you never feel alone in a room or like you don't belong. Interested? It's time to accelerate your learning curve. And this is why I created the Charisma Mastery program, to help you create sustained and permanent change when you sign up today, to build habits and skill sets that'll last a lifetime, helping you create the life you want faster. And the key is to invest in yourself and invest in your future. So if you're tired of living anything but an extraordinary life, and you want me to guide you through the process while you create the skills you need to live the life of your dreams, then check out the rest of this site and sign up for Charisma Mastery to get me and my team in your corner for 6 whole months. So make the smart decision today. Check out the details on this page below this video and learn how the revolutionary Charisma Mastery program will change your life. How you'll approach interactions differently, how you'll make better friends, powerful business connections, stronger relationships, and ultimately, the life of your dreams. But don't wait to sign up, because the 5 killer instructor bonuses that will exponentially accelerate your growth are only available for a limited time on this page only.